Hi Migushas, hi Migushus. In December 2016, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, a very aggressive kind of breast cancer. And it was during my self-examination that I found a little lump. Remember the last story I said about self-examination. So I felt the lump, and I decided not to go to the doctor then because it was just before Christmas. In January, I decided to go to the doctor, and once I told him where the lump was, he was able to find the lump right away. And that was a little bit of surprise because usually the doctors, they just do an overall examination and send over for ultrasound and mammography. What happened was, when I saw his face, deep inside of me, I had that click which confirms what I was thinking I had. And by the time I left the doctor's office, I had the ultrasound. That was on a Friday, I remember. I had the ultrasound booked and I had the mammography booked for Monday morning. So right there and then I felt and I knew it was serious to get an appointment like this very fast. So I went, I did my ultrasound, I did my mammography, and the doctor said, okay, now I want you to see a surgeon right after. So he sent me over to Credit Valley Hospital, and I had my appointment right away with the surgeon. When I was speaking to him and he was looking at the ultrasound and my mammography, I asked him, what are the chances that I have breast cancer? And he said, 50-50. You may have, you may not have. The only way to find out is doing a biopsy. And he booked my biopsy like 3 days later. I had my biopsy done. And throughout these first few weeks, I decided not to tell anyone because I don't want to alarm my family and worry people that didn't have to worry until I knew for sure. So I went through all those processes by myself. That was my choice, okay? So in March, I did my biopsy, and I remember the doctor was going to take a break. Here in Canada, we call it March break, so he could spend some days with his kids. And he called, and I thought that was very strange because usually doctors don't call us. The secretary does, but he did call me, and he said, Rosemary, I'm going on vacation on Friday. I'm spending a couple days off with my kids, but I want to see you before I do that. Can you be in the office tomorrow? I said, I can be there in 15 minutes. I work very close to the hospital. And that's what I decided to do. I just drove to the office and he saw me right away. It was during his lunchtime. And the first thing I said when I got into his office was, now it's 50-50. He goes, no, now it's 100%. You do have breast cancer and we have to get you into a surgery room as soon as possible because from what we saw, it's stage 2. And we don't want to go anywhere or spread. We want to know how it is inside. And I remember April 6th, it was my surgery day. Right after when he came back from vacation. I think the March break that year was around March 18. When he came back, right after, I had my surgery confirmed. And April 6th, I went into a surgery room. They had to apply some liquids so we can bulb the veins to show up better. The biopsy was completed that day, and usually it takes about 30 days for the results to come back. Not in my case. In about 10 days, the doctor called and said, we need to go further with the surgery because the kind of cancer that you have, carcinoma, it's very aggressive. And when we were touching the lump, we were able to see a very bad face. So he designed the cell with a lot of heads or hands or roots, you may call. He said, that is how the lump looks like. Very scary. So we want to remove that, enable for you to start treatment or start talking to your oncologist. So then I went a couple of days later. He suggested for me to do a part mastectomy. So now that I have the results, that was 100% cancer, and I talked to the doctor about it, and he gave me the directions and what to do. I had to be brave and share the news with my family. So on my way back to work, I called my son, Richard, and I told him. And he was in shock because he didn't know I was going through all those tests. But I was keeping myself very firm and just giving minimum information possible. Then when I finished talking to him, I didn't give him much information or details because I didn't think he needed to know. I just told him that I got the results, I was doing the test, and it's positive. I need to do a surgery now to remove part of the breast or the full breast. Then I stopped at my sister's house and Lucy. So when I went to her house and I had the envelope in my hands and I gave the envelope to her and I just said I was just diagnosed with breast cancer. And then I broke in tears. I could not hold it inside anymore. It was a very, very difficult time. My sister, she's my rock sometimes. I have, not sometimes, all the time. When I saw her and her surprised eyes and face, she hugged me. Lucas, my nephew, was there. He came too and he gave me a hug. And she said, we are not going to accept this diagnosis. We're going to pray about it. And they did, and I went back to work. When I got to work, I had to tell my supervisor because he knew I was going to get my results that day. And I had everyone supporting me in every way I needed. So that's why it's so important for you to share. When I speak to women now and they tell me they don't want to tell people, they don't want people to feel sorry for them, or they don't want to tell people details what they're going on, don't think that you sharing is you giving too much information. But allow people to be part of this process because it's going to make you stronger. Allow people to help you. Accept the help. That was key throughout my whole treatment. So I did my surgery, full mastectomy, as I said. After speaking to a doctor, a surgeon in Brazil, we decided to go through the full mastectomy. And when I went back to speak to my surgeon, and I said, okay, he even said, well, we were able to remove the whole thing. But it was a lump, and behind the lump, like hiding, was another lump. And he said to me, now you need to go see your oncologist. And I said, what? When he said they removed the whole thing, and I thought, that's it. I'll be going back to the hospital every year to check to make sure nothing came back. but I didn't know that I had to speak to our oncologist. That was the scary part for me. And again, I reached out to my two sisters, Germaine and Lucy, and my son, and Rebecca, his wife, and they were all supporting me in every single way. My first appointment with my oncologist, he saw the results of the surgery, he saw everything, and then he said, okay. But before I spoke to him and I prayed to God and I said, God, please put the right doctor in front of me. I don't want to go see one doctor today, see another doctor tomorrow, get a second opinion, like people say. I want to be in peace that the doctor that is in front of me was sent by you, and I trusted the treatment. And the doctor said to me, okay, so now we need to start chemotherapy. And I said, what? Why do I need to do chemotherapy? And he said, because the cancer that you had is one of the most aggressive cancers. And we need to make sure everything is clean so you can live your life and free of cancer. And that's, for me, was a surprise because I was not expecting. And I said to him, whatever you say, if you say that I need to do chemotherapy, I'm gonna do chemo. If you say that I need to do radio, I'll do radio. He said, you don't understand. Chemo is your only choice. And it's not the white chemo, it's the red one. And when he said that, I did not understand because I don't have details of chemo. I never spoke to someone. I never saw videos of anyone explaining what chemo was. And it was, the good thing is I didn't know, so I went to the hospital like it was just a treatment, right? Someone was going to inject something on my veins, medication to my veins, and that's it. I was gonna go back home, but no, I have to go to a chemo class for, I think, the full day at the hospital. And one of those days, my friend's daughter also went through breast cancer treatment, and I didn't know, but she said, Rosie, if they give you a choice of putting a line from your vein straight to your heart, do it. Because otherwise, every time you go receive treatment, they're gonna have to poke your veins. And chemo is gonna dry or make your veins smaller. And that's gonna be, by the time passes by, it's gonna be very hard for them to find your vein. And I thank her very much. Every time I went to the hospital, they will inject the medication into that line, will go across and into my heart, and the heart will pump out the medication through my whole body. And that was 12 sessions every other week. And I always said throughout my treatment that the chemo would stop me from being me for 5 days. And then I would fight the chemo back for 10 days. And then the chemo would try to stop me again for another 5 days. And then I'll fight back and be free for 10 days. And that was for 12 sessions. And throughout that treatment, I have many people sitting with me. Please, if you are going through this, accept the help. Don't be at the chemotherapy department by yourself. I thank God I had my sister Lucy. She was with me my whole time for the 12 sessions. She was with me. My other sister, my younger sister, Germaine, she was with me for A couple sessions, but the good thing about her is she was my guard at home. Every time I arrived from the hospital, she was with me, and she wouldn't let anybody come and visit me for 3 days, because that's when your immune system is so low, and if someone walks in with a little cold, for you, it can mean you can have a pneumonia or you can have a bad infection. And she was good on that, and she would stay with me for 3 days. The 4th day, I would start to get better. The 5th day, by the 6th day, I was fine, and I was like, nothing happened. And my last chemo ended September 8th of 2018. And for a period of time, it was a battle between me and chemo. Not between me and the cancer, because they removed the cancer. But taking the medication, it can make you very weak. And some days I thought that I was not gonna live to see the next day. That's how weak I was. Some days I thought that the chemo was gonna win. Many times I felt like I was leaving my body, and from the top I was looking at me on the couch. And that experience happened many times where I felt like I was not gonna see that person that was on the couch get up and leave again. I thought that person was not gonna live to see the next sunrise or sunset. It was a very difficult time for me and my whole family. In another video, I'll tell you about the side effects on them. I had my own side effects through the chemo, but they also had side effects from being part of my treatment. And but at the end of those 12 sessions, I won. Today I am a cancer survivor. This September coming up is gonna be my 3rd year. Yeah, my 3rd anniversary. And that's the reason why I start this channel, so I can share with you what I went through. Maybe there is someone out there that needs the information that I have to make her or his life a little bit easier. Let's get together. Let's share this channel. Let's subscribe if you haven't yet. Comment. If you have any question for me, leave the question right here on my YouTube channel or on my Instagram page, Made in Canada. And I'll make sure that I will answer your questions. I had many people after my first video asking me how they can get in touch with me. Leave your questions here, leave your questions on Instagram. I'll make sure I will respond to them. And that's it. Thank you very much for watching.
To everyone that walked with me, to my family that was so scary with me, thank you so much. I appreciate it so much. You guys don't know how much your eyes, your kindness can help a patient like me. And just to hear yesterday that from Dr. Higgins that I am cancer free, and in 5 years, so he's gonna fire me in 5 years. And I gave my file to
That's okay.
Audrey yesterday, And I said to her, here, you can collect dust. Amen. So thanks so much for everybody that coming. Ready? Yeah. Ready? Ready?